I do love the Elder Titan popping up as well, John. It's just such a powerful hero that for some reason doesn't get picked up very often.
Yeah, I think it's got some awkward spikes that a lot of teams can play around. I think it tends to shine in certain lineups. This is one where it does. You've got the Chen, you've got the
5
Mirana. It can
seconds.
really drag down the durability of the Mars and the Doom. So TNC has a way of piercing through their natural tankiness, or at least the Mars's natural tankiness. I think what leaves it up in the air for TNC now is which one's the KP here? Are we seeing the offlane Chen here? I think it's likely we're seeing the offlane Titan coming out for KP, and I feel like it's been a while since we've seen that one. If it is the core Titan on off, especially from KP, I'm sure he can get the work done. And we'll see how much pressure he can apply to. They don't quite know their matchups. You talked about the Doom being flex with a Mars. I think there's also a possibility for a pause for Doom here for you. I think they're the kind of team to really pull that kind of awkward support out every now and again. Might be keeping their cards close to their chest. Now, we have seen teams get punished for going with these very greedy drafts. Have to be cautious, but they immediately lock in the troll. So it's either they last pick a hard support, or they're keeping themselves tied in with their tree cores already. And these are three. Well, I guess troll is a pseudo ranged hero,
10
but
seconds
technically
remaining.
three melee heroes where
5
you don't have to
seconds
worry about.
remaining.
Well, actually, you do. He didn't ban out, say, the Phoenix. There's no room for it in
To
TNC's draft, but
manage turn
there are ways to
time.
kite this kind of draft around, and it's actually TNC who banned out the Phoenix themselves.
Okay. Last banouts now to come out, New Esports yet to make their last one. They did get rid of the OD, so just focusing in on those RML heroes. Speaking of,
10
where are they putting this
seconds.
Elder Titan? It's like an offlane
Yeah, I
Titan?
think. Yep, yeah, I think
5
it's KP. It
seconds.
should be, unless they run the KP Chen, which I don't think fits up. A pause 5 Titan is pretty meh. You need some items up in the
It's
hero
time to
and a
battle.
lot of levels. So it should be the KP hero coming out. What I want to see is his itemization. Is he going to go for
Radiant
the
lose
aura
control.
build to relieve some of the farming pressure from March, say the Guardian Greaves timing and stuff like that? Or if he goes for like a right click build, or or a utility build with maybe Force Staff coming out, drums. Really depends. I think the ET is a very open hero in that sense, that you can really
10
retool it for what your
seconds
team
remaining.
needs. So we'll find out. A new esports, they're gonna have to show their
5
hand first.
seconds
They have a
remaining.
very strange draft as well. I'm not sure if we're gonna see a hard support or just even more flex for their last pick. And again, every team we've seen kind of try to pull this off have been punished. So it's got to be something that helps them get space out for these three heroes.
Well, last pick up, 20 seconds left to make the pick here for New Esports. They seem to be lacking a support pickup unless they're going to run the support Doom here, which is still potentially there.
Dire must choose.
Okay, they'll go for the Earth Spirit as their final. We don't know how they're going to lane all these heroes, but you'd assume it should
Hmm.
be a position for Earth Spirit that we're about to see out of New Esports. TNC Predator, however, they are still lacking a mid hero for Armel, as far as I can tell. So,
10
Hmm.
seconds.
Hmm. Maybe just going for a
5
straightforward Spirit
seconds.
Brother here. I don't think you want to pick. Well, you could pick a Storm and kind of chance it with a Doom. It's a back and forth. Maybe an Ember would be more stable. A Void Spirit would be fine as well. If you wanted to tie it in for your Elder Titan, a Puck with a Dream Coil can force them together or force them to break. So there's an opportunity there to get either one from your ET out. Mm, Beyond that, it's fairly open. I think the Doom will make it a bit scary for certain picks, but you've got some options here.
they'll go for the
Your
Batrider
hero
pickup as their last
makes the
pick.
ultimate
So
choice.
TNC, there's going to be a lot of reliance out onto Gabby to really
Mm.
perform on this Sven. It is going to be the KP offlane Elder Titan, and Armel will be playing the mid Batrider. New Esports yet to pick up their own heroes, so not really revealing anything yet for their side of things, but we do at least
I
know it's
think
DDZ on the pos for Earth Spirit.
no. I think that's mid. I think that's a mid DDZ or its spirit. It's going to be the Doom support.
Oh, you are
DDZ
right.
is their mid.
Yes, you are right.
Yeah.
I apologize about
Hmm.
that.
Interesting. I think it's rather greedy here, Mike. Like a Doom support with Avenge is okay, but you take it in the context of the other heroes. Earth Spirit Core, you've got a Mars and Troll. you might get farm starved if you fall too far behind. Uh, wait. Yeah, no, it's a support Mars.
Oh, we've seen
I'm
this
sorry, it's a support
before.
Mars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've seen this one before. Last time we saw it, it was really ineffective though. Like
Mm,
it just falls really flat a lot of the
yeah.
time.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure here on Yamate to make it work. Maybe they find a way to make it work this time. I think Candy Loon and the offlane Doom should be okay against the Sven. You can just devour the Chen creeps, which is it's something that a lot of people don't think about too much. But Doom into Chen or Chen into Doom is never fun because you get a creep. Doom comes up once he's high level enough with devour, he takes the creep, so it's immediately gone. I think that's one way to keep that Chen aggression in check. That's really what Candy Loon probably needs to focus on beyond just getting last hits there. TNC for their part, this Bat Rider mid against the Earth Spirit, it should be a decent time. Again, that's a ranged hero up against. It's a melee hero into Bat Rider. He tends to enjoy that. The Earth Spirit can kind of dance around it as well, but DDZ has to maintain his lane a bit better. You don't want Armel to snowball hard, and he's got easy access into his jungle. So the chances are he will just find farm regardless. And for TNC, I think it's straightforward. It's not as wacky as we saw in their first series. Should be relatively easy to pull off compared to that first series. It's really on you to get this Mars working. I think that's going to apply a lot of pressure on Yamate to deliver some goods today.
I agree. I hope to see a good Mars support this game. Really, I haven't seen one yet from any player. These Mars position 4s. This might be the one. TNC will see what they can do about it. It's just a very greedy draft from New Esports, which does concern me quite a bit for their sake. Up against TNC, who are pretty much solely going to be relying on Gabby on that Sven to carry them through the mid to late game. Looks like everyone is just going to be trying to create space for Gabby this game.
Yeah, should be the game plan. Of course, like seeing the players just wish each other a fun game. Just have fun all around. So pretty high moods. Good to see because after that first series from TNC, there were a lot of questions in our minds, right, about what led to that performance. But seeing this draft, I think there's a lot more confidence here. They just need to perform. I think that's where the pressure will lie. If they hit their timings with March, and he is on one of his favorite heroes, I think they've got a decent enough chance to buy that space out for Gabby, as you mentioned.
Should be.
Those who bear witness will not soon.
Bounty Rune's going to be a 2-for-2 trade. Fairly even start for both. Going to keep Yamate up here on the Mars. It's like Mosen will already start rotating back down to the bot lane to ensure that his troll has a decent time. TNC, they will also just have dual lane. So you've got KP and Tims together. And that is quite a strong combination, right? Because if you can land the Astral Stomp, it's going to allow Tims to get a very easy arrow off. And with the bonus damage you get from that Astral Spirit, KP should be able to pretty quickly finish off the job.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent lane to hold out. Of course, Tims also has the advantage of just bursting down the range creep. So you don't really get any deny plays that can come in. Mosen is going to have to apply as much pressure as possible with a Wave of Terror to enable some right-click trades for Lance, but you can see what happens when KP can just walk up. One slap, 100 damage level 1. Seems pretty good for KP.
I imagine it will be. Go over to the mid lane where you'll see Armel and DDZ up against each other. It's going to be a bit of an annoying lane for DDZ, this one. The Bat Rider does just tend to dominate any lane it's in. DDZ will just have to keep his distance and try to secure CS with the Boulder Smash, but it's going to give Armel a pretty nice lead in terms of CS this game, at least for the start.
Yeah, it's a painful time as well. DDZ got 2 range creeps denied right under the tier 1, so he doesn't get that EXP. It's going to start lagging behind a bit. Going to be a lot of emphasis on the supports. I think that's the only way you relieve this lane for DDZ if you get an early support in. And I mean, already 4 stacks up. You can see Armel's right clicks just hurt. And speaking of those supports, interesting to see what Yamate will get done here. He's on the support Mars. You can see him trying to play tag with March. They do have a nice deep pull. He's trying to get some EXP out solely for Candy Loon, keeping his Doom safe. But I don't think you mind as too much for Gabby. You've got a good situation in your last hits. March is winning out the trades with Yamate, and Yamate is just in an awkward spot. Out of regen, only has brown boots, has to walk down with very low HP.
This is why I don't like the Mars support. It can't do much in the lane. Like, you've got to get level 2 for the spear, but you want God's Rebuke to be able to just harass in a cheap manner. And yeah, you can still go up to March and harass him now with the God's Rebuke, but he's copying more damage than he's actually giving over to the Chen. The pool looks like it might be interrupted by March, though. No, he allows it. But Gabby is just going to be able to get an extra large creep out of this. It's not like they're contesting this pool at all. He'll just bring it back up towards his own, between his own tier 1 and tier 2 tower, or maybe in front of his tier 1. It just doesn't matter. Where is Yamate now? He's trying to find out where Gabby's gone, or rather March is gone. But as soon as he does find him, he blocks the small camp. That's really all he can do. He's going to run away again.
Yeah, that's just so awkward. Like, he's going to be out of regen once more. He's not going to be able to rotate down mid at this rate, which is really what DDZ needs. So our Melt's off to a fantastic start as we approach those 4-minute runes. I don't know what the level 1 Mars can really do to threaten that.
It's pretty tough for him. Yamate now just going to start hitting the large camp. And this might be the way for him to try and get that level 2 mark. It's pretty sad, but that's all he can do. At least Candloon's still having an okay time on the Doom. It's not amazing, but he has the Devour to abuse, and even with that the mana burn that he does have, he does drain the mana of Gabby now. So making sure they can't get aggressive with that Storm Hammer. But Gabby's not going to care as long as he is getting farmed. He's more than happy to just sit in the lane with 0 mana and just keep hitting creeps. March and Yamate just completely abandon that top lane and leave them solo.
Yeah, they're trying to go around for the runes. It was bot. Mosin does find himself on Arcane. To deny it from both mids, you're going to be a bit upset as DDZ would have liked something to play with. Armel does have his bottle as well. But Armel, this is the longest I've seen a mid hold on to shared tangos. There's just been no pressure on our Batrider, and it's been an overwhelming start on DDZ. He needs to get some relief here, but again, your support just can't do much against the Batrider.
No, they can't. This is a hellish lane for the Earth Spirit, I gotta tell you, John. I would be very upset if I was playing this lane on the Earth Spirit. So, there's just nothing you can do. You can't roll away properly because the turn rate's slowed too much. You can't boulder smash properly because of the turn rate as well. And now you try to go after this bounty and you might get it. In fact, he does get a very nice kickoff onto Armel. I was a little bit afraid there for DDZ that he might get caught out by the Sticky Napalms again, but he's going to try and roll after Armel, get some damage off while he does have the advantage in terms of HP and mana. And Armel's going to pull the creep wave back to his tier 1. Like you said, he had those tangos available. He'll be fine.
Yeah, it's a dicey spot. You've got 6 in Armel now. He doesn't have mana, but should be able to get a refill if his supports come in. Looking across the lanes, you look down bot. At least Lance has a good start here. Not as good as her Sven, but gets stomped up.
With the arrow follow-up, and that's a 4-second arrow out from Tims. They won't actually have the damage output, though. So Lance is still going to be able to walk away and salve up and remain in the lane. Even Lance, though, he is a bit behind in farm when you compare him to Gabby on the Sven. By about 6 last hits, so it's not all bad news. But I don't think you really want to be behind as the troll, because you are going to be up against the Sven that can just cleave multiple stacks over and over again. But top lane, they do get the kill onto Candloon. That is going to be the first blood of the game. 6 minutes in, by the way. Pretty late first blood. Armel is the one to take it up.
And he spots out these stacks. He does have his flame break. He could easily just clear it for himself. You need to see some defense here in you. Otherwise, you're just feeding a massive amount of gold towards the way of TNC.
They're going to try. DDZ's coming in. Pops the Magnetize, goes for the Boulder Smash and the roll in. Armel has no help coming in apart from maybe Tims with the arrow. Still trying to run, but should die to the Magnetize and does. TNC. Just allowing that to happen to their mid-Batrider, and now even March getting caught out on the Chen. Pretty much has nowhere to go. Guaranteed to die in Yamate. Will pick up the kill on the Mars.
It's a bit optimistic to go for that play without any forward vision. They didn't manage to plant wards. It didn't look like March had any on him. So good punishment coming out. They get to clear these stacks. Candy gonna be a very happy man finding this catch-up gold. They do also manage to get themselves some neutral items up as well. But you have the same thing going on for TNC, and these are bigger stacks. So it's a lot more gold going the way of Gabby once he gets to clear these out. And he does have his morbid mask up so he can sustain himself. So just a little bit of a pause here from you.
Yeah, they're saying they just need a second.
It's been 1 second. We should go.
We should go. It is like that death on Armel in that triangle. Like I don't believe TNC should be allowing that to happen.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, Armel did make the mistake of waiting around while Firefly was on cooldown for 15 seconds, so he couldn't clear the camp. But you can't just let your mid-bat rider die like that for free, and then also lose the Chen being played by March. It's one of those games where you don't want to give new esports a way to get that snowball rolling, right? Like, because DDZ at some point is just going to start being a real pain on that Earth Spirit. You've got the Troll Warlord, who is guaranteed to be online faster than Gabby, even if he does have a lot less net worth. It's just how well, I say guaranteed, but he's actually going for the Battle Fury build, surprisingly enough. So, okay, maybe not. Maybe Gabby's just going to be able to scale at the same time as the Troll does.
Yeah, I think that might be a small mistake for you going for that slower build-up here for Lance. Maybe they're trying to go late game onto late game, which is an interesting prospect for Troll versus Sven. You don't tend to see the head-on-head matchup too often. I think that's something to watch out for. Still, the pressure points here for TNC are the fact that KP's lane is not going swimmingly. You are seeing better progress from Candy Loon, and of course, as the Doom, you're going to find recovery farm anyway. So whatever they have in mind for KP here, if they want him to hit his timings, they need to give him some support, maybe punish the Troll. It's harder now that Lance is leveled 7 though, with a level in the Battle Trance. So if you do make a movement there, it's going to be risky. And, they've got Doom up. They smoke up.
Down to that bot lane. So they're going to try and go after KP. Maybe even just check the stacks, and that is actually a lot of stacks out. But Gabby, and he runs at the exact same time they come in. The Doom's out. Gabby's going to die. Oh, that is rough for Gabby. Great timing, however, from New Esports, I've got to say. And well, now they know there's a huge stack of Ancients.
Yeah, it's the unfortunate thing is they don't have an easy way of clearing it. If you had the Battle Fury up already in Lance, maybe. But for now, they do have a ward. They're going to keep track of it. March does have a sentry. He should know there's a ward up. He should get the D-ward off ASAP, but he's going to get the stack off first. Still have to be aware of that. Is that in range? No! It's right outside the obs. So that's a scary spot. They're going to be aware of when these stacks are taken.
Oh, it's rough. March just having a look around, but that is a very clever kind of spot to place it in. Very nicely done from New Esports. They think they're safe, but they are not. Gabby might die again later on thanks to that ward. Still, Gabby is at the top of the net worth regardless of how many times he's died, apparently. And it's only been once. See if the side of New Esports can contest this ancient stack being taken. They will spot out Gabby, but Tims does kill off Yamate on the Mars. Now Stormhammer out. Gabby going to take all this farm. KB going to be stunned up. They are going to rush towards the Sven. Now Gabby just trying to go for a run, but they got the stun off with the Doom. Still, the Moonlight Shadow is going to buy time for the Sven to be just fine, but March, or rather KB, is not so fine. Magic Missile, no, it's not going to land the Invis. Does allow him to juke it out. They're going to go back in now. Back onto Candlewood. Gabby is going to be able to pick up a kill there with Armel. New Esports, they stole one Ancient, I believe. That's pretty much it. They may lose Lance in return if Armel wants to keep going, but he does not. And why is Tim stuck there? He's stuck.
That's a good question. Yeah, maybe he goes for a play. I think he went in for a sneaky reward and maybe leaped into the wrong spot. It's a good spot to be in, though. They could make a play onto Lance if they wanted to. Oh, this is unfortunate.
Well, it is Armel pausing, though. It's not really the side of New Esports' fault. I don't think the arrow would connect anyway. I'm pretty sure Lance is going to go to the left rather than go to the right. I guess we'll find out now.
Okay. Safe. Awkward, but safe. Still. New Esports, big mistakes there, Mike. They split the fight. Like, they were trying to chase Gabby, but then they gave up for some reason when he was low. They need to talk together. They need to focus down on the targets together and burst down one to find the rest. Good punishment from TNC to turn that around. And, of course, you've got a Chen, you've got the levels up. You're going to go for a tier 1 bot push next.
Absolutely. Same thing will happen, though, with Lance up that top lane. He'll get started on that top tier 1 tower. It's going to be glyphed up, but he'll get that that attack speed going and should be able to take it out eventually. TNC will do the exact same thing, but New Esports, they've smoked up with Mosin, who's going to try and act as bait for the team. Or maybe not. Yamate, he's just going to rush in now with the arena up. They want Armel. They slow him up, and there's your arena being dropped with the flame break. Going to make it hard to land that spear. They'll get it off anyway. Armel is going to drop on that Batrider, and now Candy is going to rush for Tims on the Mirana and does get him. TNC, they are forced to back. They still got that tier 1 tower, but you don't want to drop heroes like that.
Nah, it's an even trade in objectives, but the kills are giving New Esports a slight lead. They maintain some presence in that triangle. They have lost their ward. Can't really go for the counter push, but they are buying space out here for Lance. Battle Fury one part away, and once you've got that in control, you're in a much better spot here. March.
Got the haste rune, just runs off. That Moonlight Shadow, they are going to try and find somebody, and they have found Yamate. Nice lasso into the arrow out from Tims. Yamate going down to the support Mars. Now KB trying to set up another, does also get Mosin. So a secondary support now set to die. Looks like KB will be the one to take the kill on the Order Titan. So 2 support pickoffs, not too bad for TNC now. They are behaving as if they want to go after that tier 1 mid tower. Looks like that is going to be the case.
It's a big one to take. Without the supports, you don't have as much team fight. You need the arena here. You need DDZ to be ready with the Magnetize. They are in position, but have to cancel that TP. It was right into TNC.
Stop. Not going to land from KP. Don't really matter though. They got the tier 1 and DDZ. He's rolled in with the silence and the boulder smash. The Magnetize also popped Gabby. He's going to try and run away with that Sven now. He does not want to be involved here, but DDZ going to keep rolling. No. A nice stomp out from KB. We'll swap that from happening, but there's a swap in from Mosin with the arena spear coming out, and KB will end up dying, and TNC, they're still trying to fight this one out. I'm not sure about that. The Hand of God is there from March, keeping them up. Tims, he will barely survive on the Mirana. They do actually manage to kill off DDZ, but here comes Lance with Yamate. They at least want the Chen. They spear him up, and they do kill him off. Still, it's a pretty big win there for TNC.
Yeah, they get the core. They trade away support. Again, you're seeing issues from you. They split up the fight. They don't focus KP down. They run around like headless chickens. You need to lock in on a target, boys. Get one, clean up the rest afterwards. It's a bit too disjointed. So TNC are going to be happy with that. They did take the mid-tier 1 as well. There is the Battle Fury up in Lance. So our Troll can start to keep up in the farm game with the Sven. Gabby still has a 700 gold lead though. Has the halberd up, so you're already a complete pain in the butt here for Lance, and you're gonna have a BKB build up here for Gabby next. So really smart build up, just counteracting that troll. Lance, he needs some progress here. He's been, stalled out because of that Battle Fury. It needs to pay off. They need to buy space for the troll, try to get as much possible on the map done without having to show Lance, and just slowly maintain that lead. It's a less than 1k lead for New, 6-6. A close game, but it does feel like TNC is set to escalate much faster with Gabby at this point.
Smoke up now from New Esports. Into the bot jungle they go. Like, Tims is going to be the only one they can actually take out, as he's the only one here. DDZ not going to hesitate. He'll go for the roll. Gets the silence off, but the leap was already there. Tims, that's a very nice juke on that boulder smash. And Tims might actually get away with his life intact. In fact, the rest of New Esports have headed back to the dire triangle to get some wards out, but they are spotted. So it should be some fairly easy D wards out for March now. And New, they're not really going to get too much out of this smoke.
That's a missed opportunity. Good plays from TNC stalling out. We're reaching some power spikes here. March, he does have the mech. So Hand of God and mech in play. We know how much TNC plays around that spike on March. And they're going to be alive for a lot longer than you'd want here from New. They've got to figure out something. I mean, they've already got the Spirit Vessel on DDZ, but he's out of charges. And while Tims, he finishes up his own Spirit Vessel with 1 charge. So you've got to step up there in TNC. They could try to force something out.
Oh, Mosin dodges the arrow. Still in a bit of danger here. The flame break will be out from Armel, and Mosin is set to drop. Still, Doom is going to be expended, and now an Arena in the lasso out from the Batrider. Armel, he's in a spot of danger. He's been left behind and does die. Still, they had to wait out the Doom off Gabby. With this Moonlight Shadow, they want to try and reinitiate now, TNC. But they aren't going to have the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, it's a better trade for New this time around. They find the mid for their support. Still some awkward engagements coming in, but overall, I think you're going to be pleased if you're New. Lance gets to go back to farming. He is going for a Yasha into a BKB. Perhaps going for an SNY for the status resist. Knowing that the disarms are coming in. They spot KP out though.
Yamate doesn't have the Arena to lock him in. KB does now have the Meteor Hammer up. Try and follow up with that Stomp, but it is not going to land on Yamate anyway. Still Gabby now going to join KB, and they'll see if they can find Candy Loon on that Doom. They will not be able to. But TNC, they group up. Looks like they will start trying to just force down that tier 2 bottom tower.
Yeah, I mean, they've got God's Strength up, ready to go. They actually don't have the Elder Titan ult. Looks like KP has opted to skip it, which is fair. They force out the fort, so there is that. And the scan play does find that someone's in the Roche. Maybe they get baited into that, try fighting Roche. Looks like New might actually just commit. No, they just take out the Chen creep and kind of maintain control. So just building up slowly here. You are seeing a bit of a clump up from New. They don't quite have the Doom. It's going to be 40 seconds, so probably just going to wait until that Doom is back up before committing to any further engagements here.
Just a 7-7, 18.5 minutes in. Net worth just slightly in the lead there for New Esports by 1k. We are still waiting out on Gabby to finish that BKB and have the Ags. That'll be the point where Gabby wants to get involved. So they have been very good at dooming Gabby every single team fight. So it could be pretty tough for him even with that BKB up. He's going to try and juke out Candaloon with that Doom.
Yeah, it's about positioning. I think New Esports are in a spot where, you know, they've been disciplined with that Doom, but when it comes down to it, they might just be forced to Doom whoever they can find. As long as Gabby plays patiently, lets his team frontline for him, I think they're pretty fine. I think it has to be KP who's in that sacrificial spot in the front. If you manage to let them focus the Elder Titan down, I think you can follow up really easily, especially with the Batrider. I think that's going to be the focal point as well. Armel is going for a BKB instead of a fast blink here. So it's going to be longer until you see the initiation from him on the Bat. The BKB is also a bit far off, maybe halfway there. You're going to have to wait for that farm to start flowing in. I think it's another one of those games where both sides are very patient. They don't want to bleed away any sort of lead to the other side for no good reason. And it's just very calculated, very measured play from both sides.
That it is. What's Dota Plus think? 54% the way of New Esports for now. Fairly even game. Blink Dagger now coming out onto Yamate, and there's your BKB on Candaloon. Even the Vladimir's on Mosin, so a lot of big items coming up here for new esports. Might be about time for them to go for a smoke.
Yeah, it would be a pretty big spike for them having this kind of durability, and they do. See what they can get done. It's still awkward for Candy because he has to walk to get the Doom off, but...
Well, they run into Tim's. Tim's just going to leap away. Yamate still could get that arena, and does. He's grabbed 2 of them. Moonlight Shadow's going to be out, however, towards the south. They're trying to chase down Gabby. He's been doomed up again on that Sven. They're just trying to protect as that Doom will wear off eventually, but he may not have enough time. The lasso's there onto DDZ, but Gabby does die. TNC, they cannot turn this one. They need to run, but KP has been caught out by DDZ on the Earth Spirit. You've lost 2 cores on TNC's end of things for the price of a support. Of course, Mosin, the only man to die on new esports, but he won't mind that.
No, it's a massive win for New. I'm still having issues here with the fights though. Like, you have Yamate just splitting it up, and it paid off then. But you're also in a very awkward spot where if Yamate's too far out, the rest of the fight breaks off elsewhere. You just drop your Mars support for no reason. You lose the arena as well. I think they did manage to catch TNC by surprise, which is what gave them the big win. TNC, they've got to be a bit more cautious. We're seeing the Doom being expended on Gabby consistently now. As you mentioned, it seems like the patience is there from Candy. So you're not going to see any hasty Dooms thrown out. They have to clump up a bit better to prevent themselves from being picked off. And they do smoke up. They've got God's strength. They can maybe try to go for a pick-off play here.
It's a big smoke. Okay, so they're going to run it into the Lantern Mosin. Of course, they want Mosin if they can afford to get him, but no, Yamate is going to break the smoke with what I believe was an invis or a smoke of his own. Pretty sure he was invis at the time, though. That is super unfortunate for TNC. They can't even go after the Roshan here. They need to back off.
No, I mean, they get scanned out, so New might think the rush is happening. No, they see it clear up. They should know it's just a little poke around. Still, lead builds up here, Mike. 4K now for the side of New. It looks like Lance has put himself firmly in the lead, and they actually are the ones to go into the rush pit.
I agree with that, though. You've got the better team fight in that Roshan pit. Like, yeah, you've got the Elder Titan there, which is nice and all, but he's got to land everything first. New, they'll take a bit of damage, they'll just let it go. Candaloon now has the Doom up once again. So all ultis are up, apart from Hand of God on the side of TNC, but that's going to be up in 10. Not too long.
I think for New right now, you just have a little bit more patience. You're going to have the blink up in Candy. That simplifies his process for hunting down Gabby. And it's just about 10 gold off. No need to rush into this next fight. TNC, they've got this fresh BKB up on Armel. 10-second charge for him. He's going into his blink next, but it's not going to be up in time for the next fight. Still, you've got the Yule Snap from Tim's. We've seen him set up for his team with the Yule's arrow plays. He can start doing that by himself now. They just need to follow him up. If New Esports gives some room out, Tim's could make a lot of space out here. So you've got to be cautious with your spacing now.
The way TNC's playing this, it feels like they're putting too much pressure on Gabby here on this Sven. In all honesty, right? Like, there's just way too much pressure on a Sven that's going to get doomed every single time by Candaloon. It's like, we talked about this earlier on, but you've got the BKB, but it means nothing once the Doom is out. It's really tough.
Yeah,
you don't have any Lotus Orbs on TNC, no Lincoln Spheres to try and block it off. Nothing. It's just good luck.
I'm surprised KP's not going for any of those defensive items. He's rushing an Ags on BT.
Mosin, gonna get caught out there on the bench. He will die, and that might be a cue to try for the Roshan play now. They could give it a crack. Tims should scout out that they are down at the bot lane, so Roshan? No, not quite yet.
It's just a safe disengage. I mean, it was just the support they found. Poorest one as well. Well, poorest next to March. So it's not the biggest kill. New Esports using this time well. Again, they've been sitting on this Blink on Candy for a while. They've got the S and Y on Lance. So he does have a little bit more status resist. The disarm not going to last as long as you'd like it to now. And I love that he's just going into Satanic. It's more lifesteal coming in, even more stat resist on the top of it. You're going to be hard-pressed to keep Lance disarmed for long once that Satanic's up. And TNC, it's that defensive item build-up, right? Like, you talked about it, but Gabby is under a lot of pressure here. His Ags is about 1,000 gold off, maybe about 400 gold off, actually. No, it's about 1,000, so once he's got that, he can engage. It's just, he's kind of stuck. He just can't get anything done, and they just watch your tier 1 fall.
Swap in, Mosin went on to KP. They're going to roll in with an arena out from Yamate now. Catching out KP on the Titan, but Gabby pops the God Strength. It's a lot of damage out. He's already got 2 of them, now a third. They will chase for more, and that is the dream scenario. Gabby can have a 3-man clump up like that on the Sven. Can get the job done.
Again, it's New Esports kind of scattering that fight. You see Yamate jump a different side of the map, while their heroes were on the other side of the lane. They got punished for it. Really good split up from TNC to get that punishment off. The Roche as well doesn't last too long here. So they win the team fight. They get the first Aegis of the game. Suddenly that 4K lead of New Esports just disappears. They really need to get their communication up to par. Yamate is jumping targets on the opposite side of where his course wants to play. It's causing some problems here, and they've bled a lot of the lead away.
They've got that Aghanim Scepter now up on Gabby. Blink Dagger now up on Armel. They finally got him to the point where they can actually try and contribute here very nicely on TNC. This is the point where, for New, it gets a little bit scarier. Especially for Candaloon, because if you imagine Gabby, he's probably going to be just focusing on making sure this Doom dies every single time. And as well as that, of course, Armel should be focusing on that Doom for the lasso. But you've just got to make sure the Venge isn't around at the time. But now they have the tools in place to try and get this done. However, New are going to be the ones to smoke up. They want to try and take another team fight. Into that mid lane they go. Armel in a perfect position to break the smoke, and does. Yamate, his smoke's broken, but they roll in. DDZ knows exactly where he is. They'll use him up. Stomp is coming in from KB and does come out, catch out Yamate. Now the lasso. Oh, the swap, it's on the wrong target. Mosin, he swapped Yamate instead. Candy's very, very low. He gets the Doom off in time, but it is going to be onto KP, so Gabby can just go ham. Although Battle Trance is there, but he just halberds up the troll. Arena is going to come out. Yamate will save the day for now. They'll get Armel on the Bat Rider. Gabby, he'll respawn with the Aegis, but he is surrounded without God Strength. He is not quite as strong. Candy does come back in. Stormhammer, he'll turn back around and get Candaloon, but the spear away from Yamate, and now the control out from Mosin. Does get out the kill. TNC just going to try and run away now. Roll almost connecting. He gets a silence and the boulder smash here with another roll in. KB trying to get the stomp off and does. Looks like New Esports. They'll get that tier 2 mid tower eventually.
Yeah, they forced out the Fortify as well. It does open up more opportunities, and the spells are just not landing. New Esports not quite punished. That was the team fight we were looking for. Yamate on point with the arena, catching multiple of the ones he wanted. Still dicey. Like you mentioned it, but Mosin got the wrong swap. It was a scary spot. If they lost the Doom there, would have been falling apart. So New Esports still need to clean up some of that execution, but they're starting to find the answers here. TNC have to be a bit cautious. You are big on Gabby, yes. Everyone else isn't really that scary yet. You want to be spaced out better. You want to maybe wait out this Ags on KP just to make sure he has like free spell immunity when he does get some good spirits off, and kind of just stand in the middle of the fight, sustain himself. So a little bit more patience required from TNC. They just go back to farming for now, but they did lose Aegis. That will put a bit of a damper in their confidence as the lead does flow back to New Esports. 3K lead back their way.
Well, Now TNC back to the drawing board. It's looking good for a second, but New Esports just still being in this game. That's starting to become a real problem now in this troll. I believe he has a Satanic coming out now, and yeah, he does.
Ooh,
Do you have
that's scary.
Is that a smoke coming out? Not quite. Just going to run down to TNC, who are smoked up.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
They'd love to actually just pick off Mosin, get rid of that swap. Tier 2 bot tower is going to be denied off, and TNC, they're just going to back off again. Not really willing to fight this one out.
Yeah, it's a safe retreat out. Maybe they can get a chase off, but Tims is playing with fire here. Nah. Gonna go for the outpost capture. Cheeky arrow play, but they just come with they get in the objective. They pull back. There is a moonlight though. Maybe they walk their way back in, but I think Tims is just trying to be sneaky here.
He lands the arrow on DDZ, but not really going to mean too much. TNC, Moonlight Shadow, they're still in the mid lane. Just what's the game plan here, TNC? They just seem to be all over the place. In fact, Arena is dropped. A good reaction out from Armel. Blink out of that Arena immediately on the Bat Rider. Now counter smoke out. They want to try and take this fight without the Arena. New Esports should be somewhat aware that this could be coming, but Yamate is still sticking around farming and does break the smoke, but he blinks out in time now. Armel trying to go for the lasso, but he gets speared away, and now KB, well rather Gabby, is going to get doomed up on the Sven. It's not looking great for TNC. They do get the lasso off on DDZ, but Gabby is already going to go down. The Hand of God too late out of March. March is going to get chased down now on the Chen with DDZ. Lance has killed off Tims on the Marana, and March is gone.
TNC. That was not the fight to engage. They chase way too deep. Yamate really quick in the fingers there, buying the time for his team to come in, and this BKB for Gabby is just not paying off. And you called it earlier on, but it's not doing anything when Doom flies in, and they're going to get the push going. These towers do not stand long against a troll. And when you sleep the creep wave, that helps him out because the tower won't hit him.
That's your first racks going down. Lance, he wants to go on to tier 4s. He's actually hitting the tier 4 tower pretty hard. That's one gone. Lance, alright, go for another. 30 seconds without Gabby up. They'll drop the Earth Spitter. Won't really connect on anyone, and that'll be enough for New Esports. Mid racks and a tier 4 tower, and they'll be happily backing out. Still 2 tier 2 towers across the map for TNC. But you've got a 9k net worth lead now for New. I mean, everything's just looking great. It's just rinse and repeat for New. Just Doom Gabby, the fight's over.
Yeah, TNC, they know the Doom's down though. They are smoked up. They might find an opportunity, but New is fairly safe, in a very safe spot now. The scan doesn't land, so they might still be able to sneak by. It's a long walk for them, though.
Very long walk. Moonlight Shadow, but they've got the high ground New. They're ready, unless Lance does get caught out. Oh, he's going to go in and farm. Armel has a very easy lasso, but they need to get Mosin first. Mosin's on the run. Here they go, but Yamate, he gets a 4-man arena. They'll get the lasso off. Is it going to be enough, though? Probably not. DDZ, he'll roll in with the Magnetize now being activated. And, well, Yamate and Mosin are both dead, but they've got March on the Chen. They've got Gabby under control. He's low. He'll Stormhammer back to the Doom, but he's just falling way too low on HP, and they can't help him out. There's your Doom coming out from Candy now. On to Gabby. He's going to just try and deny himself off, but can't even get there. That could be GG, John. They do not have buyback on Gabby. New Esports could try to rush the throne.
Yeah, I mean, there's that one tier 4 left. Easily just bypass it and go straight to the Ancient. It looks like that's the game plan. Lance, ping it out, wants to rush in. I mean, they buy back an RML. He's going to have Lasso in 10. Maybe you can stall long enough,
Oh,
but
Mel,
that's a
you
full
can't
minute
die.
without the core.
Mel, his blink's going to be cancelled thanks to that Spirit Vessel. They're going to try and delay this as much as possible with a nice little arrow setup, but Lance is just going to keep going. On to the Ancient now. Tim's being caught out. Does go down, but he can buy back. Gem is on the deck. DDZ just going to guard it himself, and look how fast that Ancient drops.
Oh my god.
Lance is going to focus it down. They arrow him again, but there's no way to stop him. They need the lasso, but they lasso Candy.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. That was not the one you wanted to lasso, but I don't think it would have made a difference anyway. Lance was just hitting way too hard. And that'll be game 1 going to New Esports, which means that they are 1 game away from kicking out TNC.
I don't think anyone expected this result today for New. Like a really strong show in game 1. We questioned the Mars. It was a rocky start. They held on. They suddenly found their initiation. TNC, again, Mike, these are comfort picks. The March Chen, the Gabby Sven, the RML Batrider, the Tim Smarana, and they couldn't get the execution off.
I'm telling you, John, it doesn't seem like they're on the same page today, though. Like, they're very split up. They're not working as a team as well as they used to. I'm not sure what's happened. It just doesn't seem like the TNC we're used to watching. But we'll see if they can get it back together for game number 2, which will be starting in 10 minutes, so they don't have much time. It's MLP Dota and JohnXFire. See you all again very, very soon for that second game.